I took interest in the stables, where several cows gave birth to their calves. We were a group of adolescents running from one cow to the other, watching the messy process of delivering new life. We laughed at the young calves that looked so ugly and wet and were unable to stand properly. We played by assigning ourselves as human parents to the newborn calves. There was a really small and weak one which no one wanted. It was mostly white, but no one could tell exactly given all the blood and dirt it was covered with. Everyone thought that it would soon die anyway. I took mercy on it and adopted it, since none of the others wanted it. I went every day to watch it grow and strengthen. After 2 weeks, the house looked good again, and the animals happily grazed in the plain. The calves stood already firmly on their legs now, and followed their mothers everywhere. "Europe! Look at your one of my friends cried. "It is so thin and ugly." I felt ashamed. Yes, my calf was thin, but ugly it was not. It glowed so brightly white that it was almost blinding, though it was still smaller than all the other ones, and where all the other ones jumped around and played with each other, mine was standing, shy and unsure of its own moves. The calf was different and certainly didn't look as healthy as the other ones that were growing fat and strong from their mother's milk. This is why my father didn't consider it amongst those selected for the hecatomb. My adopted calf was destined to continue living, while my friend's perfect ones would be used for the hecatomb. I called it, and I didn't expect it to move away from its mother's side, but he did. He came to me without fear, as if he knew that I was his human parent. I stroked his head. I felt his horns pushing the skin to come out. I stroked him all the way down to his white nose. His mother called him and he left, but I knew that his eyes followed my every move. One day, I saw the well-dressed ambassador from the pharaoh discussing with my parents. It was then when he officially asked for my hand. It was not a surprise, but now my parents had to prepare for me to go to Thebes for the summer solstice. It felt like my parents couldn't wait to get rid of me. Why did I have to leave, while all my brothers were allowed to stay? "Father, I don't want to become the wife of the pharaoh," I said during the family's morning gathering for breakfast. "Daughter, we have talked about this many times. This is your destiny. It has always been from the moment you were born. We cannot change that. Besides, what woman wouldn't want to live in the golden palaces of Thebes as a queen?" "But father, I'm still young, only 16. You are not young. This is the right age for marriage. You are going to give our king and God many strong heirs like your mother did to me. You should be happy to go." "But I don't want to go. Why can't I marry someone here? There I will not see you again. Everyone says that the pharaoh is old and already has many sons. He doesn't need me," I insisted. My mother looked at me with a hint of mercy. But his voice thundered back. "I cannot allow this discussion any longer. The pharaoh has granted us a great honor. He can never know about this discussion." I felt abandoned, so I left and wandered towards the stables. Many animals had been moved for the hecatombs, but my calf and his mother were there. I stood and started thinking about the discussion with my father, and with the edge of my eye, I saw my calf running with decisive pacing to come to meet me. He put his pink nose in between the bars to be stroked, and then he turned his back to be scratched. "If you ask me, this will be a fine bull," said Cadmus, who had followed me. "The most beautiful of both were sacrificed, but my weak and ugly one survived," I told him, thinking of my father's plans to sacrifice the calves to gods and me to the pharaoh. A ray of hope warmed my heart. Maybe I could find a way to avoid my sacrifice, like my calf had managed to avoid his.